Hey, Readily Besties, welcome back to the Run with Anna new podcast where we talk about all the things writing. In today's episode, I'm going to be chatting all about why we write. And I was able to actually ask you guys over on my Instagram page. If you guys don't follow me, it's underscore Anna new. And I asked you guys on a poll on my Instagram story, why do you write? And I'm going to be talking about your responses and reading them out and kind of just talking about why other people write, and maybe this will inspire you or maybe connect with you as well in some sort of ways. So I'm just so excited to get into some of your responses. So thank you all who were able to respond to my question. So let's go ahead and get on to this episode. Okay, so let's just get straight into the responses. So someone said that the reason that they write is because it's escapism and they enjoy controlling their world with the power of the pen and a computer. So that's really interesting, the whole escapism and the ability to control something, because I feel like, at least for me, like being a writer and someone who is just on this earth, like we have no control over a lot of stuff that happens to us and even control over our own lives as well. So I totally agree with that, in the fact that it is a form of escapism. And if you guys don't know, the reason I started to actually write was because I was so bored of this world and I simply needed to write a story. And it was like a really old sci-fi story where basically the characters go into, a new sort of what's it called? A new planet. So it was like completely different to my world and the reality that I had in my life. So I definitely agree. Like it's a form of escapism and the ability to control something. Like I wish there were dragons flying outside my window today. Like I wish, but I can't. So what am I going to do? I'm going to write it in a book. Okay, so that's quite common one, I feel like, that I found within your responses. Let's go ahead and get on to the next one. So someone said, the thought of people writing fan fictions, making art, headcanons, and loving my book. Wow, that's very valid. I think like one of the sole reasons that seems to be for this person is, of course, the ability to share their work and people loving their characters as much as they love their characters and their world and stuff like that. So, wow, I agree, because when people ask about my characters on my channel or on Discord or on any sort of platform I'm on, and they're like, "Oh, how's that book going?" or "How's these characters?" or "I'm so excited for Amen or Kaido," or all these cute, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh." You guys know about my projects and you also want to know about how they are. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I did actually get an artist to create, and they just reached out to me last Christmas last year about literally drawing my OCs, Kaido and Amen, and I was able to share with them a particular scene that I wanted them to draw them in, and it's simply the best thing, and I was simply over the moon. So I definitely understand the idea and the prospect of getting someone to love your book and love your characters and draw about your characters and your world. Wow, that's really powerful. So I definitely agree with that. Okay, let's go ahead and go with the let's see another one. It's therapeutic, allowing me to express myself both emotionally and creatively. That's very valid too. I like this one because I'm not sure if I've done a video. I think I might do a video about how writing is in a way therapy. For me, it definitely is. It's a time where I can spend doing my own things and writing what I want to write, and kind of just not escaping my problems, but more so just dealing with them through my characters and through my world and stuff like that, which I think is really powerful. And there's a few people in my life who've thought of even reading and writing, they think I live in a fantasy world and that it's harmful to me. And I'm just like, shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about. As a writer, writing is simply, it's a necessity for life, and it's a necessity for dealing with things, and it's just a place to come to and express emotionally and creatively. And I'm going to be going into the next response, which I think very much deals with these sorts of ideas, and that is that sometimes I feel like writing is the only way for me to say something important without being interrupted. And I connected with this, and I'm sure a lot of you guys could as well, but wow, this person, wow, like the way that they've worded it about like it's the only way for them to say something without being interrupted. And I'm just like, my golly, that is so true, because at least for me, it's really difficult just like being a person for people to listen to me without them judging me, without them questioning me, lecturing me about what I'm trying to say. And I barely get my whole thoughts out. So I just keep them to myself all the time. So the fact that, sorry, I like nearly spat. The fact that you're able to write something and get that person to read it allows you to kind of, give them your ideas in full, and you're able to express your way in a way that's like really controlled and very reflective, because you've written the book and thought about the characters. And all characters and all stories, all plots have a backing to them, which is your view of the world and what you want to say with these characters and these plot points and these themes in your book. And a lot of people can't get them out because people will just judge them. So literally, wow, so valid, so great. I'm getting really deep here. Next one. uh Someone said it's because it's the adventure I'll never have. And honestly, cheers to that. I definitely think, I remember when I was younger and I always thought like at least like restricted to the reality and like just like the reality of the world, that I would at least like have something to look forward to in my uni years, for example. Like I remember being in high school and being like, oh no, I'll meet this really mysterious boy, or like no, I'll go study abroad and I'll have all these amazing adventures. And even though they don't come close to like riding a dragon or like fighting in a war or like meeting a prince, like it's still something. And the fact that they've never happened, it's just like, okay, like my reality and my perception of reality and my hopes for reality in my world is dead. And that's why, honestly, it's because, yeah, you're gonna have the adventure of a lifetime if you just write about it. And like, I always live vicariously through your characters' lives. So that is so true. I love that. Okay, let's go on to the next one. So someone says, there has been so many books that have helped me, and I hope that I can do that for someone else one day. Very sweet. Honestly, yeah, books really do impact people, and I love reading. Of course, all writers read. And the fact that, yeah, you're able to write something that could impact someone else's life is an amazing idea, amazing prospect, and something to hope for. And the selflessness in that, and like the vulnerability you're putting yourself through by writing a book and like giving it to someone who barely knows you is ridiculous. And if you guys don't know, Project Ghost is extremely close to my heart, and it's a book that I simply like. If you want to know about me, read that book. Like, that's the whole reason I wrote that book, so people can understand and hopefully relate and hopefully find comfort in the characters and in the story. And though it is a very very what's the word, like light-hearted at sometimes, it's also extremely deep and feeling. There's lots of feeling in that sort of novel, and that's why, of course, I wanted to write it, because people can actually understand who I am. So very valid, and I definitely think, helping other people the same way other books have helped you is extremely heroic. So keep going. Next up we have romance addict. Sorry, romance addict. Yes, yes. You guys don't know how much I want to be Okay, so this is really hard to explain. Like, I'm not going to talk about my love life because, of course, it's non-existent. But it's the fact that I know I'm going to be single for the rest of my life. And you can't tell me, like, no, Anna, you'll find someone that will be like, no, I know for sure I will be single for my whole life. And I'm fine with that most of the time. Like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish I had a boyfriend. I wish I could like literally just hug someone. Like no, like why would I physically have to put in that work if I can just escape and write about romance? And like, yeah. And what's really interesting is that I found out that I get like excited about other people's, because I never knew. Okay, sorry. A little bit of a tangent here. My friend loves creating, I'm sorry if like you don't want me to tell. She probably doesn't watch my videos, but she reads a lot of rom-coms and like romance contemporary novels because she can put herself in the main character's shoes and live out that sort of romantic life. I have never felt like that. I've never like felt the need to put myself in that sort of position because like I find it like I the same way like I would, sorry, that was my budgie. My budgies are downstairs by the way, but let me explain. The reason is because I find joy and I find like inspiration and love within other people's relationships. So I'm like, why would I need one of my own if I already like find that same sort of satisfaction that I have reading and writing other people's relationships? Is that weird? Like I've never really inputted myself in a book, really. They've all kind of been separate from me, so that means of course the relationships are extremely separate as well. So yeah, that's at least how I feel about the romance. But yes, I'm a big romantic, though I know I'll be single for my whole life. So forever a romantic, never in a romantic situation. Sorry if the budgies are keeping you guys distracted. I should probably close my door. Give me 1 second as I close my door. Okay, I'm not sure if that did anything. Sorry if you still hear the budgies outside. They are wonderful. I love them so much. Okay, let's get on to the last three that I'm going to be talking about because I don't want this video to be too long, but also I do want to just chat about, yeah, this really, really important topic because, of course, this is why we write. So someone has also said it's because I want to have a company through the characters. Oh, sorry, I want to have company through the characters that will be loyal to me, which is really interesting because, like, honestly, I agree with this because. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I don't know if you can like even hear a difference. There are so many sounds and I bet you can't hear it, but like I get really frustrated because I want my podcast to be at least auditory, like it needs to be nice quality. But sorry if you can still hear background noises. How about let's get on to the next one. Someone says it's because I want to have company through the characters that will be loyal to me. So yes, loneliness and having no friends is definitely a good reason to write characters. I'm very lonely. I have not many friends in my life. Like I don't really have a friend that I talk consistently with, or that comes over every day, or that I FaceTime all the time. Like I don't have a friend like that, which is really sad and I hate it. And I'm not sure if it's just because of who I am or because I don't want it, which I really do want a friend who I can just chat to all the time. And I do have really good friends like Tiana and my sister Jess, who I love so, so much. But I really just want someone like next to me. Like, I don't know. What am I doing? I'm not getting emotional. I'm not like talking about my life. No, we're talking about this person's reason to write. And yes, the company of your characters is definitely something that's so special about being a writer. And I think like no one else can really express and like acknowledge how much of an impact writing characters has on writers' lives because they're not a writer and they don't get it. They don't get our emotional connection with these people. And I think it's something that's really important when you are writing because you're writing these characters, you're like birthing them, you're creating them. Like, what's more vulnerable and sacred than creating a person? Isn't that crazy? And that's why, like, I love God because God created me. And I think that's like a big relationship. Not that God is like, God created me as a character in his own book. Yo, that's kind of a cool story idea. Anyways, yeah, I just think creating characters and being with them and like spending time with them is literally so valid. And like, yeah, we might be delusional for thinking that they are real, but like, no, it's very valid. Don't worry. Okay, last two. Someone says, I write stories for people that never had a chance to speak up, hoping that my work can help them do that. Wow, that's really inspirational. Kind of very similar, sorry, to the about, not being interrupted. Yeah, for sure, like writing stories for other people and like representing people within their own books, which I think is so heroic and something that really is underrated. And that's a really very, honorable reason to write books, to really just yeah, find people that you want to represent and help, and say things that maybe some people can't say. And I agree wholeheartedly with this. And I feel like, in a way, like it's also what I wanted to say, and also probably what other people want to say in a lot of my books. So, something as beautiful as that is simply so valid and so beautiful and amazing. So, keep writing. I hope your writing is doing well. Okay, last we have Tiana. Tiana, I love you so much. If you're listening in, thank you. I love you. Tiana's a writer. She's my like only like writing friend that we very kind of consistently talk, and she has written her reason to write. So let's go ahead and check it out. So it says, an affliction, so writing is an affliction that's bound me since as long as I can't read. Give me 1 second. Sorry, Tana, I'm gonna do justice. I'm gonna like say it very dramatically. Okay, you guys ready? It's an affliction that's bound me since as long as I can remember. Wow. That's like that's a writer's way of saying this. An affliction that's bound me since as long as I can. That's really poetic. Wow, Tiana, you never cease to amaze me. Wow, that's so beautifully put. And I think that definitely does capture most of these ideas, because honestly, it's something that we can't help. We need to write. Like, it's become like a necessity for us, and a way of expressing ourselves, expressing others, escaping. It's just something that has helped us cope with life. So, like, yes, it's a beautiful art, and it's something that we should definitely like try and continue doing. But it's also just something that we always come back to. And like, yeah, the whole idea of being bound, it's beautiful. And I think that's definitely so true for a lot of writers. It's something we can't help. If you're a writer once, you'll forever be a writer, no matter what you do, whether that be storytelling and other different things, or whether it just be continuing writing your book. Like, seriously, amazing. You guys are so beautiful. I love all your responses. Thank you so much for listening in. If you did, yeah, and thank you again for those who, submitted some of their responses. Thank you. Definitely follow me on Instagram if you want more updates on how I write and like how I'm doing, and also like for videos and podcast episodes like this, since I hope to do more interactive videos like this where I talk more about your stuff and like what you guys think of writing and stuff like that, because we do talk about all things writing on here, but of course I want you guys to have some input too. Anyways, I love you guys and hope to see you in my next episode. Bye guys.